Welcome to Football Game Plan Scout Team. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. And now that the 2021 NFL Draft is complete, let's take a look back and see how well these teams did this past April. With rookie minicamps done and the 90-man roster with the undrafted free agents locked in as they head into training camp, let's evaluate the entire class and hand out a grade. So without further ado, let's take a look at the Football Game Plan Scouting grading scale to see what these numbers next to the prospects actually mean. The Houston Texans draft didn't start until day 2 in round 3, and they didn't have many picks to work with, but they were able to maximize some of their selections. You see Davis Mills, a quarterback. That Deshaun Watson situation is a tricky one because you don't know if he's going to be there on the roster or even not playing if he wants to stay in Houston. So they had to take a quarterback. I just didn't agree with the quarterback they took. And they also got some depth on the back end, on the defensive line with Roy Lopez out of Arizona, who should provide good rotational depth up front. But what I liked most about the Texans draft was them grabbing my number 1 inside linebacker in Garret Wallow out of TCU. When you think about Lovie Smith's defense, and you're thinking in terms of Tampa too, right? He wants a smart inside linebacker, and that's what he's going to get in a guy in Garret Wallow who was a former safety in high school, transitioned to linebacker in college, and he still has that safety type athleticism. He's a smart, instinctual football player that plays with great play speed and also acceleration. I just think he's one of the more complete inside backers, and he should start, in my opinion, right there on the inside. I also like that they grabbed my number 2 H-back in Brevin Jordan. Yeah, he may not test athletically through the roof, but this is a guy that was very productive at Miami. He's a good move piece at the position, and one that should find optimal matchup or mismatches on game day. Nico Collins reminds me a lot of Allen Robinson and how he attacks the football. He's someone that loves to play above the rim. He's not afraid of those physical discussions that'll happen over the middle of the field, and isn't shy about contact that happens when he's approaching the ball for a reception. So they get someone that they can groom into their number 2 wideout, a bigger guy that can play inside or outside. Love what he was able to do going down at the Senior Bowl this past January despite opting out of the 2020 season. Now let's take a look at some of the undrafted free agents that have a great chance to make the roster, or ones that will stand out in camp, in my opinion. Ryan McCollum, the center out of Texas A&M at 6'5", 300. For a taller center, I love the leverage and pad level that he plays with, and he does a very good job in that regard, very consistently. He can really dig up a defensive lineman up out of a gap and move him out of the way. He has good functional strength and hand placement, and he's able to spearhead the downhill run game that we saw a lot at Texas A&M. He could also even see time at guard in the NFL. Marlon Williams out of UCF is unafraid of contact. He's about the same size as Nico Collins, maybe 3 inches shorter, but 215 pounds. He's very dependable over the middle of the field, and I like how he finds open voids within the defense, whether it's zone or working himself open during a scramble drill type situation. He finds those soft spots and makes himself open for his quarterback. He's a physical player who can hold his own on the blocking department on the interior, and one that makes it very difficult to tackle him after the catch. And Damon Hazelton, in my opinion, plays a lot like Traquan Smith of the New Orleans Saints. He's an underrated route runner and does a very good job of setting up the defensive back on every team that he's playing against. He's able to create enough separation between him and the ball carrier, in the corner. As a result, he's a springy type athlete that can play above the rim. He has above average short area burst that ties directly into the springy nature of his game, and he's able to consistently find opportunities inside the red zone and over the middle of the field. Again, he's 6'3", 215. So they have a type right now that they're building in Houston, these bigger physical wide receivers that can play across the formation. I gave the Texans a B- for their draft. Really solid overall. Garret Wallow, Brevin Jordan, Nico Collins, and some of the undrafted free agents like Ryan McCollum are players that I think could have a big time impact on this football team. But the quarterback selection was one that was tricky. There were better prospects, in my opinion, on the board. You had a Jamie Newman that was still there. You didn't have to take a quarterback because you have a guy in Tyrod Taylor that's on your roster. Davis Mills, to me, was the reach, and that kind of sours on what they were able to do in the draft, in my opinion. But again, they got a starting middle linebacker and guys that can help contribute in year one. So that's it for this edition of Football Game Plan Scout Team. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts. And don't forget to check out and subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network located at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Also subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast and leave us a 5-star rating.